So, wet and dry season. And before I say that, for the last few months, Spirit been telling me, just post it. Just post it. And I'm like, but how do y'all want me to do it? How do you want me to get it? How? At this point, yeah, I'm high my little bump, so, don't come for me. However, wet and dry season. Lately, I've been watching National Geographic, and I really don't watch TV, because I try to keep myself busy. I really do like being outside and in nature. So when I watch TV, I always tell myself that it's something I'm supposed to be getting from what it is that I'm watching. And my daughter wants to take a trip to Africa, and I'm like, okay, well, let's watch some things. Let's look at what some of the animals that's gonna be out there, because I want to see them, but I also want to know about them too. And the one thing that I've noticed with watching the animals is that over in Africa, they have wet seasons and they have dry seasons. Now I'm gonna talk about them. So the dry season. During the dry season, it first starts off where they have all of the water, all of the flourishing, the new life, the new birth that came from the last wet season that they had. And the animals are, they're harvesting the fruits that have come, the flowers that have bloomed, the grass that is feeding them. And this is collectively all of the animals that has to sustain within the meat and the veggies that are on the land, and they have it. And at some point, it starts running out. And some animals start dying from the dry season because they wasn't built for it. They wasn't strong enough. They didn't have the proper teachings, or they wasn't paying attention when the elders of the animals was showing them this is danger, this is prosperity, this is abundance, this is what you need to start to save, this is how you need to do. And then they die, and then there's some animals that reap the benefit of those animals lacking to learn their lesson, and now they have food in abundance. And they eat and they eat and they So now everybody is eating off of these other dead carcasses of these animals that didn't learn the lesson, or they didn't properly prepare for their provisions. That was the message that I got. Prepare for your provisions. And I was like, what does that mean? Because the way it was given to me, it was coming from like the Bible form and Judith and giants and not being afraid. And I was like, but I don't really feel like I'm afraid of anything. I mean, besides being seen and posting these messages and letting you guys know who I really am. But I know that there are some of y'all that watch me because of who I am, and really my last post that I put, I've become someone that I love being around. So whether y'all love me or not, okay. So I'm going to give these messages when Spirit is telling me post them. Prepare for your provisions. Because if you do not prepare for your provisions, when the dry season come, after you overeat, you overindulge, or you didn't save enough, you might become someone else's meal. So it was that. But then also there's some animals that you're just a part of the natural cycle. Like even if you try to prepare, the most you could do is to overly produce an abundant. So that way you can make sure that you always live on. Because when you look at the fish that are in these areas of where you have the birds and the storks, that when the water is high, when it's all full from the wetland and all this, these fish have somewhere to duck down and go when these land animals want to pluck them off from the top. And so those land animals, they're either learning how to be quicker. You got to be quicker than that. Or they learn to be patient because they know that this wet season, because we ain't got there yet, but we know it's only going to last for a minute. And the dry season is actually my benefit. When things seem to be at the worst for everyone else, they're my benefit, because as the water go down, the fish has less place to run. Now them storks is able to come right on in and like, buffet time. They can now eat and eat and eat until they can get as fat and as healthy and as strong so that they can be the top of their top, to be the one that's able to produce. Because in a lot of the animal kingdom, only one, the best of the best, is able to procreate, because we need the strong to live on. Not just our kind, the strong. If you know, you know. So only one really produces, and they have all that. That's another conversation, another message for there. But they prepare for their provision. And now they start to mate, and you going into like the hibernating season point of that, because after the midpoint of the dry, because it's dry here, when they're just about here before the wet comes, they starting to prepare and they going in. They're preserving their energy from this abundance that they got of the blessing. So, where someone's blessing was another person's downfall for their lack of planning, in both cases, they had to plan for a season that was inevitable, dry, because now comes the wet season. This is the storms. This is where the saying, when it rains, it pours, okay? And what are you going to do is you're going to put on your raincoat and dance in the rain in celebration and enjoyment because, yay, we need for you to water these seeds that went down in the ground from everything else that died, because with death comes life. And with death comes them seeds, they dry out, and now they need this rain. And in some, they need the rain because of fish, we need this water to build up again. And the frogs, they need the water to build up again. And all of these animals, now they start to take advantage of when it's pouring down. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody's pour is somebody else's downfall, because it's both sides. So depending on how you're looking at this storm, right? That's why it's both sides. Because some people see the storm and they're just like, oh my God, why is this happening? The water is coming. It's making my home slide. All of my storage that I put, it wasn't properly matted up and all that. It's just weathering. The water is melting everything. My food is rotting and I just can't have, I'm losing this, I'm losing that. And some people are saying, yes, the rain, I need it. I need to clean off. I need to be able to drench myself and release all of this wet mud that dried up on me that I couldn't shake off because I can't reach my back. Thank you for cleansing me. Thank you. I need this rain. And it comes in. And now everything, again, like I say, new life. Now the frogs, they're overly producing in this wet season. The fish overly producing so they can make sure that they go. That's where now the waters are higher, or the weather is better and it's raining and the trees are flourishing. The birds are flourishing. The birds. Making a long story short, the animals know how to prepare for their provisions. And their provisions is all in their perception of it. Am I going to use this to properly train my offsprings and what's coming up and will be the evolution of my lineage or my wealth or my generations? Or will I just allow them to just learn it aimlessly? You know, just go ahead, do what you need to do. Not proper. Okay, we'll see if we make it until the next one, because the goal is always to go through another cycle. They understand that. The goal is always to go through another cycle. But if you do not properly prepare for your provisions, you may have to repeat that cycle, which means you may have to start all over on building yourself and making more of abundant. So that way you can continue to grow on and not become extinct because of the circumstances you